We live in a world of invisible magic. With a device in your pocket, you can access the sum of human knowledge, stream 4K movies, and talk to anyone on the planet. But there is one thing that brings this magic to a grinding halt: bad Wi-Fi. It happens to all of us. You pay a fortune for the gigabit internet plan. You bought the expensive router that looks like a futuristic spaceship with 8 antennas. Yet, the moment you walk into your bedroom or the kitchen, the connection drops, the video buffers, the game lags. We often blame the internet service provider, the weather, or just bad luck. But the truth is, the problem is usually physics. Wi-Fi is not magic, it is light, invisible, low-energy light. And just like a light bulb, where you place it determines everything. Most people are unknowingly sabotaging their own internet speed by fighting against the fundamental laws of electromagnetic radiation. You might be putting your router in a place that guarantees failure. In this deep dive, we are going to look at the physics of radio waves, interference, and signal propagation to understand exactly why your Wi-Fi sucks and how moving your router just a few feet can double your speed. Before we start moving furniture, we want to know: share your thoughts in the comments. Where is your router currently hiding? Is it on the floor, in a closet, or behind the TV? To fix your Wi-Fi, you have to stop thinking of it as a mysterious connection and start thinking of it as a radio station. Your router is essentially a tiny radio tower broadcasting and receiving data via microwaves. The first rule of physics that kills your speed is the inverse square law. Imagine your router is a candle in a pitch-black room. Close to the flame, the light is bright enough to read by. But if you double the distance from the candle, the light doesn't just become half as bright. It becomes 1/4 as bright. If you triple the distance, it drops to 1/9. This means signal strength decays exponentially with distance. Even in an empty field with zero obstacles, your signal is dying rapidly simply by traveling through the air. Engineers measure this signal strength in dBm, decibel milliwatts. A perfect signal is around -30 dBm. A usable signal is -67 dBm. Once you hit -80 dBm, you are basically in a dead zone. Because of the inverse square law, moving your router from a corner of the house to the center doesn't just make a small difference. It creates a massive mathematical advantage. If your router is in the corner of the living room, you are effectively blasting half of your signal strength into your neighbor's yard or the street, leaving the far side of your house starving for data. Centralization isn't just a tip, it's a mathematical necessity to keep your dBm numbers in the usable range. But distance is only half the battle. Unless you live in an empty warehouse, the radio waves have to travel through an obstacle course: your home. This brings us to absorption, reflection, and refraction. Not all walls are created equal. First, absorption. Drywall and plywood are like fog to your Wi-Fi. The signal gets through, but it loses energy. However, dense materials like brick, stone, and concrete are signal killers. Masonry absorbs a massive amount of radio energy. If you have a brick chimney or a concrete retaining wall between you and the router, the physics dictates that very little data will make it to the other side. Second, reflection. Metal is the ultimate enemy. Metal doesn't absorb the signal. It reflects it like a mirror reflects light. This creates shadow zones behind the metal object. This is why putting your router inside a metal utility cabinet or behind a large flat-screen TV is the worst possible mistake. You are essentially putting your internet inside a Faraday cage, trapping the signal and bouncing it back onto itself, which causes noise and interference. And finally, the most surprising enemy: water. Remember, Wi-Fi runs on microwaves. This is the exact same frequency band used by your microwave oven to cook food. Microwave ovens work because water molecules resonate at this frequency, absorbing the energy and turning it into heat. This means any large body of water in your home is a black hole for Wi-Fi. Fish tanks, a 50-gallon aquarium, is a massive signal absorber. People, yes, human beings are mostly water. A room crowded with 50 people will actually have worse Wi-Fi than an empty room because the bodies are soaking up the signal. Hydronic heating. If you have water pipes in your floor for heating, you effectively have a shield preventing the signal from reaching the basement or the second floor. Now let's look at the antenna itself. Most people visualize Wi-Fi radiating out like a perfect sphere, like a bubble expanding in all directions. But the physics of a standard dipole antenna creates a field that is shaped like a torus or a donut. The signal shoots out strongly horizontally, but very weakly straight up or straight down. Why does this matter? If you place your router on the floor, you are putting the donut right at ground level. Half of your signal is immediately being absorbed by the floorboards or the earth foundation. You are wasting 50% of your broadcast power on the dirt beneath your house. Conversely, if you put the router on the very top shelf of a high bookcase, you might be shooting the signal over the heads of your devices. The ideal placement is at table height, roughly 3 to 4 feet off the ground. This aligns the meat of the donut with your laptops, phones, and smart TVs. But what if you have a modern router that claims to use beamforming? Beamforming is a fascinating cheat code of physics. Using multiple antennas and complex algorithms, a modern router can detect where your device is and slightly delay the signal from different antennas. This creates constructive interference, effectively squishing the donut shape to shoot a directed beam of data toward your laptop. However, beamforming has limits. It cannot punch through a metal fridge or a concrete wall. It helps with range, but it cannot overcome bad placement. We've talked about physical obstacles, but there is also invisible obstacles. This is the physics of interference, often called the cocktail party effect. Radio waves are shared space. If you live in an apartment building or a dense neighborhood, your router isn't the only one shouting. Every neighbor's router is broadcasting on the same frequencies. Wi-Fi operates on specific channels. Imagine a highway with lanes. The 2.4 GHz frequency is like a narrow country road with only 3 usable lanes, channels 1, 6, and 11. The 5 GHz frequency is like a massive superhighway with dozens of lanes. If you and your neighbor are both on channel 6, your routers are essentially trying to talk over each other. Your speed drops because your router has to wait for the airwaves to clear before it can speak. This is compounded by non-Wi-Fi devices. Your microwave oven, your baby monitor, and even some cordless phones operate on the 2.4 GHz band. Every time you heat up a burrito, the microwave leaks a massive amount of electromagnetic noise, effectively jamming your Wi-Fi signal. The physics fix. This is why connecting to the 5 GHz band is crucial. Not only is it faster, but the physics of 5 GHz waves, which are shorter, means they don't travel as far. Paradoxically, this is good. It means your neighbor's 5 GHz signal is less likely to reach your house and cause interference. So you've moved a router, elevated it, and checked the channels, but your house is just too big or has too many brick walls. You need more hardware. Here is a critical warning about the physics of Wi-Fi extenders versus mesh systems. A cheap plug-in range extender or repeater has a fatal flaw. Wi-Fi is usually half duplex, meaning it can't transmit and receive at the same time. It works like a walkie-talkie, not a phone. An extender has to listen to your router stop and then shout the message to your phone. Then it listens to your phone, stops, and shouts back to the router. This process cuts your bandwidth in half. You get more range, but you get half the speed and double the lag. Mesh systems solve this physics problem. A high-quality mesh system uses multiple nodes that speak to each other, often using a dedicated backhaul, a separate frequency band reserved just for the routers to talk to each other. This keeps the main lanes open for your data, preserving your speed even at the far end of the house. If you have a large home, stop buying extenders. You are fighting a losing battle against half-duplex physics. Invest in a mesh. So let's recap your physics checklist for better internet. 1 is centralize. Fight the inverse square law by putting the router in the middle of your home. 2. Elevate. Get it off the floor to let the donut signal breathe. 3. Materials. Keep it away from metal, concrete, and large bodies of water. 4. Frequency. Use 5 GHz to avoid the cocktail party interference of your neighbors. It's not magic, and it's not luck. It's just physics. By respecting how light and radio waves travel, you can finally get the speed you paid for. Thank you for watching this deep dive. Go check your router right now. You might be surprised by what you find. Share your thoughts in the comments. Did moving your router actually speed up your connection? Let us know. Like, share, and subscribe for more tech videos every weekday.